सर्वं गुरुदेव देव. Hari Om. Hari Om. Now we will listen to Pujya Swami Sadhana ji. Request Pujya Swami ji to take the session. Hari Om Swami.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sam Saraswatye Namaha. Hari Om. Last session of our sadhana, we talked about different kinds of obstructions which comes in our path of sadhana. Like Mala, Vikshepa, Laya, Avarana, Sukhaswada, etc. etc. When we go to a shop and purchase any valuable things, we are taking a computer or a washing machine or a fridge, they always give us a small booklet with that, a manual. So that manual helps us to use that thing in the exact manner and the best way possible. And even if there are some small problems come, how to handle it is also said there. Like that, when Bhagavan created us, the most complex creation, human being, Bhagavan gave us a manual also. That manual is known as Veda. In Veda, there are 3 parts. First one is known as Karma Kanda. Second part is known as Upasana Kanda. Third part is known as Jnana Kanda. Most of the time, we are all, Vedantic students and all that. But understanding these Vedantic concepts are very easy. Comparatively easy, we understand. But to put them in practice becomes very difficult for us. Why? Because it's as though we are going, we are entering into the, post-graduation class and sitting. We have not gone to other places. We have directly came to the post-graduation. So sometimes we intellectually understand, but it doesn't make any sense to us because we have not come through the, proper channel. So in Vedic understanding, first is Karma Kanda. There are Upasana and different kinds of Yaga, Yajna, etc. Why all that things are there? Because all those karmana, chitta shuddhi, all these adorations and this karma, puja, etc., that help us to gain chitta shuddhi. What is chitta shuddhi? Ragadvesha rahityam. No, ragadvesha is not there. Our mind becomes comparatively pure through karma kanda. Then comes the Upasana Kanda, where Upasanas, different kinds of spiritual practices are taken up. So that spiritual practices makes our mind concentrated. So first problem is our mind is lots of ashuddhi is there, impurities are there, they are removed by Karma Kanda. And this Upasana Kanda gives Chitta Ekagrata, concentration of mind. Then comes Upanishads, Jnana Kanda. Now, what we do is, first itself we go to the Jnana Kanda and we understand, but it takes time for us to, really go into the deeper meanings of it and experience it. Because Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda, we have not done. Now today's our topic is now Karma Kanda is something which is, which may take more time, but something which we can do is Upasana. All of us, if you really want to experience what is said in the Shastra, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, if we really want to experience it, we should have Upasana. Now, what do you mean by Upasana? Upasana is consist of 2 words, Upa and Asanam. Upasanam or Upasana, Strilinga or neutral gender, Upasanam, Upasana, sitting near, Asanam to sit, Upa Samipe. So Upasana means to sit near. What do you mean by to sit near? Shastra says, what is Upasanam? Just sitting near doesn't mean that, you go and sit near. So Bhagavan's Murti is there. You go and sit there. That's all. No. Upasanam nama parichaya shusrushava. So Upasana is not just go and sit near someone, but by telling sit, please, sit near that person doesn't mean just sit there. Parichaya, shusrusha, serve that person. That's the meaning. So how to do parichaya, how to worship the Supreme, how to worship Bhagavan, how to worship Atman, says Nitya Naimittika Prayaschitta Upasanena Tattvasya Puja Bhajana Dhyanadika Parichaya Shushrushawa Upasanam. Shastra says Upasana is not only just sit near some person, but to do parichaya, to do shushrusha, to serve the truth, to serve Bhagavan, to serve Atman is Upasana. How? Says Nitya Karma. Every day we do japa, puja, bhajana, dhyana, nitya. Naimittika. Whenever there is an occasion, now, Deepavali is coming. So, like that, whenever there is a nimitta comes, using that nimitta, get attached or get connected with the Supreme. Nitya, Naimittika. And sometimes we knowingly, unknowingly commit many mistakes. So understand, accept that we have done a mistake and then do prayaschitta. Small prayaschitta we have to take up, so that our mind becomes again pure and will not go back to commit those wrong things. So some small prayaschitta upasana. By practicing that, tattvasya of the truth, Supreme, puja, bhajana, dhyanadika. What is upasana? Puja, worship of that Bhagavan, and bhajana, japa of that Bhagavan, dhyanam, meditating upon that Bhagavan or truth or Atman. That is known as, that is parichaya, that is shushrusha, that is upasana. Now, this is the explanation given for upasana. So, what we should do by nitya every day, and whenever there is a extra occasion, that time we worship, we meditate, we get connected with the Supreme, and then that upasanam, that getting connected with the Supreme is upasana. Now, the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, there is a verse, third verse. Yetvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam padyupasate sarvatra gamachindyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam. That is the third verse of the 12th chapter. So there is a word, avyaktam padyupasate, padyupasate. Now, here Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya gives a very beautiful explanation for upasana. What is upasana? Because here that word comes padyupasate. Acharya Shankaracharya Bhagavan says, what is padyupasana? Padi samantat upasate padyupasate. What is the meaning of padyupasate? Samantat, not once in a while. Dirghakala nairandadi asevita. Many of us, some days we are very much inspired, so we do a lot of upasana. After some time, our all interest is gone, no more upasana. Not like that. Dirghakala nairandadi. Nirantarata should be there. Asevita, and also we should have that love for that Upasana. When we do that, then it becomes Paryupasate. Pari Samandat Upasate. So now Bhagavan gives a very beautiful explanation for this Upasana. What is Upasana? Upasanam nama yadha shastram upasyasya arthasya vishayikaranena samipyam upagamya tailadharavat samana pratyaya pravahena dirghakalam yad asanam tat upasanam achakshate. Many of you might be studying Bhagavad Gita very seriously, and you might be having the Bhagavad Gita as Shankara Bhashya. So this is from 12th chapter, 3rd verse. Okay, please refer it also. Very beautifully Bhagavan says, what is Upasana? Upasanam nama. First thing, Yadha Shastra. Many of us takes up Upasanas from our own, fancies. Sometimes we think, okay, we hear some in some satsang or in some people or some, they say, they talk about some Upasana. We also, okay, let us do that. No, we just take up Upasanas and then do it for some time, and then we lose interest, and then we give up that Upasana. Then we hear somebody else talking about something else. We get inspired by that, we start something and then do something and then drop it. Like that, we are going on and on. Acharya says you should not do like that. How you should do your Upasana? Yadha Shastram. Means, Yadha Shastra means according to the Sat Shastra, according to the Vedas, according to the Upanishads, according to the Bhagavad Gita, according to other Shastras which are pertaining the Upasanas, Shastrataha. So we should not take up any Upasana which is not recommended by Sat Shastra. So Shastram, Yatha Shastram, Shastranusruta, according to the scriptures. According to the scriptures, we should take up Upasanas which are suitable for us. In scriptures also different kinds of Upasanas are said. But what is possible for us, that according to Shastra we should take up. Yadha Shastram. Now comes, why we should do Yadha Shastram? Says, what is this Shastra? So Madhusudana Saraswati says, why should we, take up the Upasanas according to Shastra? Says, Sravanena Pramanagata Asambhavanam Apanudya. Why we should study Shastra? See, there is a very great work of Adi Shankaracharya known as the Sadhana Panchakam. You might be heard about it. Sadhana Panchakam you might have studied also. See, Sadhana Panchakam starts with Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam Tadudidam Karma Swanushtiyatam Tene Shasya Vidhiyatam Apachitihi. See, starting with like that. Study Vedas. And whatever, that Shastra is telling us, that you, start to practice. And practice all that as worship of Bhagavan. See? So that's how the Sadhana Panchaka starts. That's what he has. So why should we study Shastra? Says, Shravanena. When we study Shastra, Pramanagata Asambhavana Vapanuti. So we get a clear idea of what we want to reach. Who is God? We want to reach God, but we do not know who is God. We want to realize Atman, but what is this Atman? We do not know. So unless we study Shastra, this asambhavana, this lack of clarity about our reach, our sadhya, can be only removed by studying Shastra. So asambhavana apanudya. By studying Shastra, by Sravana, asambhavana, our doubts or our not understanding the truth should be removed. Then Shastram, second, Acharya says, Upasyasya arthasya vishayikaranena. So we study Shastra and then By studying, we understand, okay, there is something known as Atma, or there is something known as Brahman, or there is someone called Ishvara. Now, we understood that only understanding is not enough. We have to arthasya vishayikaranena. All doubts should be clarified. Now, mananena, that doubts are cleared by manana. Only Stravana is not enough. We have to do manana. Mananena prameyagatam viparita bhavana nivritti. So whatever doubts are there about our path, our goal, what to do, what not to do, all that will be clarified by manana. Shravana gives us, okay, there is a place, there is something which is, fit to be gained, there is something which is very great. That is not by Shravana. And manana actually, by thinking over about all those ideas, slowly our doubts are clarified, mind becomes very steady. So, mananena prameyagatam viparita bhavana nivritti. That's all removed. So, we have studied Shastra and thought about it. All our doubts are cleared. Is it enough? No. Samipyam upagamya. We should go near it. What is Samipyam upagamya? Anandagiri says, Atmatvena upagamya. Now, suppose I want to worship Bhagavan Mahavishnu. Okay? Now, because we read Bhagavata, we read such books, then we hear about there is a Lord. There is Bhagavan who is Kripanidhi, who can take us over the samsara samudra. This understanding comes. Now, do manana. How to worship Bhagavan? What are the means to worship Bhagavan? So Bhagavan in Bhagavata itself, Shastra, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam. These all things are given to us. What is the path? What is the goal? Go to go. That all becomes clear to us. Now, just understanding this is not enough. We have to practice it. Samipyam upagamya. Now, go near that truth as our own self. Atmatvena. This Vishnu, Bhagavan Narayana, is not somebody who is sitting somewhere. He is my soul, my heart, my true nature is that Bhagavan. Understanding this, we have to go near. That means giving up all other attachments, slowly go to this true nature of ours. Then what we should do? Taila dharavat samana pratyaya pravahena. What happens? Taila dharavat. Just like you take little oil and then pour it. You can see that the oil will be without any break, is flowing. If you take little water and pour, water will be, there will be break. But taila will flow without a break. Like that, our mind, our vritti, our thoughts should be continuously flowing to about that truth. If you are worshipping about Atman, Atma Chindana, without any break. If you are worshipping Devata, your Ishta Devata, in that Ishta Devata, our mind should be constantly, thinking about that truth without a break. Taila dharavat, with like a taila dhara, like the pouring of the tailam, taila dharavat, samana pratyaya pravaha. A pravaha should be there, a flow should be there, which is of the samana pratyaya. The same kind of thought flow. Not sometimes this, sometimes that. See, sometimes people say, no, I like Vishnu, but I like Shiva also. No problem. But if you keep on changing, that will create some problem. See, you're sitting and then first thinking about Vishnu. Let me think about Shiva. Let's think of Ganesha. These all are one only. Understanding that all these Namarupas are the expression of same truth. But when we do our Upasana, we should make sure that our mind is constantly flowing through the same kind of thought. Ekatana Chintanam. So, Taila dharavat samana pratyaya prabhahem. Says, what is this? Masudan says, Taila dharavat abhichinna samana pratyaya pravaha. Avichinna, unbroken, same kind of thoughts should be there in our mind. Pravahena. How much time? Dirghakalam. Not that 1 day, 2 days, I am meditating for 5 days, nothing happens. See, it takes time because our mind is so much into the world. Mind is filled with so much of thoughts of this, of many births. So many vasanas are there, so much of samskaras are there. It is very difficult for the mind to concentrate on one thought. So we have to practice this for dirghakalam. You do not know when, but you should keep on meditating without any, boredom and etc. Dirghakalam yat asanam. Yat asanam means what? Says purnachit ekatanam aksharamatmanam sada bhavayat. So this Atman or Bhagavan or whatever is Rupasya, that is sada bhavayanti. We are meditating on that alone. That is known as samana pratyaya pravaha, which is known as nididhyasanam. Sravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. With constant thought, without any distraction, when our mind goes into one thought, that is known as nididhyasana. Nitaram dhyatumicha. So now, first we are studying Shastra and we understand that there is, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. Now we think about how can I be the Sattvam, Tattvam, that is known as Manana. So now when you do Manana, we come to this conclusion that Aham Brahma Asmi. And when I sit in that Aham Brahma Asmi Bhavana, in that only one thought is there. Only one thought is there, Aham Brahma Asmi. That is known as Nididhyasana. Now, Aham Brahma Asmi is there. So this Aham Brahma Asmi is also. But this thought is the way, path to overcome all other thoughts. Now, from hundreds of thoughts, we came to one thought. Aham Brahmasmi. Now that is Nididhyasana. One thought. That is known as Dirghakalam Asanam. Asanam Nididhyasanam. Now when we do this for a long time, slowly, Aham also start to fall, Asmi also start to fall, Brahma will alone exist. I am Brahman. Gone. Either I am is there or Brahman alone is there. All other thoughts are fallen. We become one with that Supreme. This is known as the Samadhi. In Nididhyasana, one thought is there. In Samadhi, there is no thought, only the experience is there. So Nididhyasana is like a boat to cross over the different thoughts. And then we come to that land of oneness, Ahamasmi, Brahma Ahamasmi, to this Anubhava, Anubhuti we enter. So this is known as Upasanam. So whether it is in Vedantic, whether it is in Bhakti, in Bhakti we meditate upon Bhagavan, and Bhagavan, we think that I am meditating on Bhagavan, slowly I am also falls on Bhagavan alone is there. So both actually ends in the same point of Samadhi. So this is the Upasanam. So what is Upasanam? So all of us, we may not be now able to reach those things, but every day we should study such Shastra, good texts, which is talking about the supreme truth. We should spend some time to study, and not only just study, keep on reading books which are contrary to each other. Don't do that in this stage. In this stage, now let us concentrate upon one path. Okay, so we go that path and then do the manana. Not only just read, but think about what is said and what they are telling Upasana and what is Upasana. Think about it. And when we think about it, when we put time And when we really try to understand, then this truth becomes clear to us. No? So our action, our parishrama and kala, samaya and parishrama, time and effort, when we put to understand this, slowly the truth starts. We are able to understand. We are able to clearly understand what it is. That is not enough. Now what we have to do, now from all other thoughts, what we understood, in that we should constantly think about only that thought. Giving up all other thoughts, we concentrate on one thought. That is known as Upasanam. So when we do this Upasana, slowly, all other distractions are removed, and then Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapi Hidam. Now the truth is as though covered by this Maya Valaya. Slowly Upasana removes that. Tattvam Pushanna Pavrinu. Please remove this, Bhagavan. Satya Dharma Idrishte. So then Pushanne Karshe Yama Surya Prajapatya Vyuha Rashmin. Please control your Rashmis. And Yatte, what is your true nature? Let me see that. Yatte Kalyanatamam Rupam Tatte Pashyana. Let me see that true nature of that. That is Upasana. Then Yate Kalyanatam Rupam Tatte Pashyami Yosavaso Purushaha Sohams. So when we meditate upon our Ishtadevata, Yosav, then our mind, we see the truth, we realize the truth of the Ishtadevata. We understand that Yosavaso Purushaha Sohamsmi. That Sachidananda Ishvara himself resides in my heart as this Jiva. So that Jivo, Brahma eva, Navapara. So the Jiva is none other than Supreme Truth. Or Supreme Truth alone is sitting in this form of Jiva. All dualities are vanished. Nandati, Nandati, Nandati. Yogarato va, bhogarato va, sangarato va, sangavihinaha. Yasya Brahmani ramate chittam. Nandati. Nandati, Nandati. Whose mind is become one with the Supreme Truth, he only enjoys. Let this Deepavali bring lots of happiness. Let this Deepavali lights up our heart and lead us to the supreme joy of union. Happy Deepavali to one and all. May Bhagavan bless us. May Gurudev's grace and blessings be with us to open up this inner sacred chambers of our heart and realize the supreme truth as our own self. We shall answer some queries which we received after the last class. First one is about the women chanting Gayatri. This person is telling that she is chanting 108 times every day, regularly after bath, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. Can I do this? Of course, you can do that. There is no problem. By chanting Gayatri is very helpful for all of us, and chanting it regularly shall help us in our spiritual growth. Second question is, my mind goes through a lot of distractions. I am not able to meditate properly. Third question is also something like that. I'm not able to concentrate during meditation. So that is very natural actually. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna tells this to Bhagavan. Arjuna says that it is Vayodiva Sudushkaram. It is so difficult to concentrate. It's like, putting the air, or catching the air, or controlling the air. It's so, yes. Of course, it is very difficult to control, but it is not impossible. How can we do that? One says that Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Yes, it is difficult to control mind, but with abhyasa and vairagya, with constant practice and dispassion, we shall be able to slowly control the mind and concentrate. There's no other way. In Yoga Sutra also we'll see Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. Abhyasa is, yes, when we are sitting every day, mind goes here and there, but we should not stop sitting. Again and again, mind may go to Yato Yato Nischarati Manaschanjalamastiram Tadastato Niyamyetad Atmanyeva Vashamnayat. Yes, it is very natural for the mind to go here and there, but with lots of love, with lots of care, without getting depressed, slowly bring back the mind back to the dhyaya, to the vastu what we meditate. So again and again and again, we have to do this. That's the only way. This abhyasa is the only way. Second, vairagya. Why our mind is going to or distracted, or why our mind want to think something else other than our dhyaya? Because we think that the sukha, the happiness lies in those vastu. That's why mind is going here, there, etc. So vairagya, vigataha ragaha. Yes, this all vastu are there in this world, but let the mind be not attached with them. So we see, in each vastu there are dosha darshanam. There are, whatever things are there in this universe, all of them will have some dosha. So slowly find out that dosha and slowly bring mind back to our dhyaya. This is the only way abhyasa and vairagya this happens. And then talking about relaxing the body parts, etc. Because when we sit for our meditation, mind becomes, the moment mind becomes concentrated, some parts of our body started to ache, etc. So they say that one thing is regular exercise, of course, like Surya Namaskara, etc. If you do and make our body little flexible, that will help us. So that's why in yoga paddhati also asana is prescribed, stiram sukham asana. What is asana? Asana is not doing many postures, but we are able to sit for our meditation for a long time without any problem. So whatever little exercises which we can do to relax our body will be very helpful in our when we sit for meditation. And also if neck pain, etc. happens, slowly doing some small exercise before the dhyana, relax each and every part. So before we enter into the dhyana properly, first we sit down and take our mind to each and every part of our body and relax. First relax the entire body, then alone go to our meditation. This also shall help us. Now, staying up late to getting up early. How can we do that? Only by practice. Slowly we have to, go to bed a little early, and then get up. That's the only way we have to practice. By practice only we can do that. Now comes a very interesting question. Why do we have to pray before having food? And why are we chanting Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter for that? What is the connection with food? Nice question. Why should we pray before having food? According to our Indian understanding, the subtlest part of food becomes our mind. Whatever we eat, the subtlest part becomes our mind. In Chandogya, when we study the 6th chapter, it's explained very deeply there. So mind and food is very much related. So food should be sushuddham. If you want a mind which is subtle, which is very concentrated, which is very peaceful, the quality of food is very important. Now, they say that there are 3 kinds of dosha, impurities in food. What are they? One is known as vastu dosha. So what kind of food we eat? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic foods are there. So when we eat that kind of food, accordingly our mind also gets agitated. We know that some food we take, some liquor or something when we take, our mind becomes so agitated, or it goes into kind of tamasika bhava or rajasika bhava, etc. So one thing for a sadhaka to be careful is what kind of food he is eating. If you eat sattvic food, that will help us. That's why in Gita also we say yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Yukta ahara. The food should be very yuktam. should be very pure, sattvic, so that our mind also become very sattvic. Now, so that is not a vastu dosha. So there is vastu, some things actually can create a disturbance in our mind. Vastu dosha. Second is nimitta dosha. Suppose very good food, very sattvic food, but in that sattvic food, if poison is fallen, or finger nails or hair or some insects etc. are fallen, then it becomes nimitta dosha. So now we should not have food which is spoiled, even though it's very good, but some poison is fallen into it, we should not eat it. That's known as nimitta dosha. Now comes third, asraya dosha. Means from where this food is coming, who is cooking this food. We do not know what kinds of thoughts are there in the mind of cook. And suppose somebody is giving us food, but that person earned that money in which way? Or killing or looting, somebody is earning money, and then what they do, they give bhiksha, etc. So when we eat that bhiksha, which comes from a money which is adharmic, that will affect our mind. This is known as asraya dosha. Now, how can we remove this asraya dosha? Only by praying to Bhagavan. So prayer before food actually is one reason is to remove these kinds of asraya dosha. We do not know from where this food is coming. Sometimes we do not know what kinds of thoughts were there. Who cooked this food? When the cook is cooking the food, what kinds of thoughts are there in his mind or her mind? We do not know. So pray to Bhagavan to remove all those kinds of impurities. And another thing is, see, food is something which we do regularly. Other things we do not know, but every time at least 2-3 times we take food. So before we take food, make it a habit to pray, so that our praying also becomes regular. And when we eat the food with a sattvic mind, with a calm, quiet mind, the prayer helps us to make our mind calm and quiet. And with that kind of a bhavana, when we have food, we actually enjoy food. Even the food becomes more sattvic. Food becomes more pure. And in such an environment where everything is calm and quiet, when we have food, that food will have lots of positive energy and which will help us to grow in our spiritual and material planes. So prayer is very, very important before our food. Now, why chanting Bhagavad Gita? There are many, many reasons. The 15th chapter, which is known as Purushottama Yoga, is the essence of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So all those things which is discussed on all the 14 chapters are summarized in the 15th chapter, and the supreme truth about the Purushaha, Uttama Purushastvanyah, Paramatmetyudahrutaha, that Paramatma Satya is revealed to us. That is the highest knowledge and the essence of Gita. So that's why 15th chapter is very, very, very important, Purushottama Yoga. So by chanting 15th chapter, it is like going through the entire Gita literature. So it helps us to understand and imbibe those values of Bhagavad Gita. That's why every day we chant 15th chapter. That is one reason. Second reason is asking what is the connection with food. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, there is a shloka, says, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamastitaha Pachami Annam. There very clearly Bhagavan says, I myself residing in each and every being in the form of Vaishwanara Agni. In our stomach, there is a fire. That fire is Vaishwanara. Fire means the power to digest. That digestive power which is there in each and every being is me, is Bhagavan. So with this bhavana, when we eat, so eating becomes a sacrifice. It becomes a yajna. So we are not just eating. Whatever we are eating is sanit, ahuti, and then we are eating. The kriya becomes also that's why Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam. The Agni is Brahman. The one who eats is Brahman, the food is Brahman. So it becomes a great Upasana. So Bhagavan, so we are actually doing ahutis to Vaishwanara Agni, who is none other than Bhagavan. This bhavana comes, and then our food also become very sattvic. The entire karma becomes a great sadhana. So that is there in the 15th chapter. So that's why we are chanting. So, but generally people say, why 15th chapter is chanted? Because that is the shortest chapter. 12th and 15th chapters are the shortest chapters in Gita, 20 slokas only. Some slokas, there are 70 plus slokas, etc. By the time we chant, the food will be cold. So that's why we chant 15 chapters, just only for fun. Some people tell like that. Anyhow, that's true also. There are only 20 slokas. It's a very small chapter, easy to remember, easy to chant. So we chant the 15th chapter before the food every time. That will be a great sadhana for us. Now talking about a lot of work, and I am doing a lot of work, so I'm not able to do sadhana, but I'm working in a corporate sector. So my work itself can be considered as my sadhana. Of course we can. The work can be considered as sadhana. Work can be do as worship, but for that we need lots of dedication at the lotus feet of Bhagavan and constant remembrance of God. Naradastu tadarpita akhila acharata tat vismarane paramavyakulateti. Bhagavan Narada says that what is sadhana? What is bhakti? Tadarpita akhila acharata. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, dedicate that all work to Bhagavan. What do you mean by that? See, that kartrutva bhoktrutva buddhi. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. This feeling should be slowly taken away from our heart. And then we should say that Bhagavan himself is the karta, Bhagavan himself is the bhokta. The doership and then achievership and that bhava should be removed and placed by Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. Tumeva mata, tumeva karta, tumeva, everything is Bhagavan. But it's not easy to come. See, what happens is we say to people, oh, no, I don't do any sadhana. Everything, whatever I am doing, yadyad karma karomi tattadagilam shambhotavaradhanam, etc. Very easy to say, but very difficult to practice. If you want to really practice that whatever I am doing is Bhagavan Seva, then our ahankara, ego, should be merged with the buddhi of Bhagavan. Then only we can do that. For that, we need to practice some small upasanas at least. At least, chant Bhagavan's nama whenever you can. You are driving, there is a lot of time in between. So in between your thoughts, you are working, in between, remember Bhagavan. Just take Bhagavan's nama. Namasmarana. So then and listen to good talks or satsangas. Whenever you get time, at least read for 5 minutes. See, it is not that, there is no time. There's no value. That's a real thing. If we value this, if we value that my life should be fulfilled, my life should be, filled with all positivity, then we find time. Most of the time, we don't have time because we have no value for this. So develop value, we will see that there is a lot of time. When we wake up, when we are taking a bath, when we are brushing, when we are walking, when we are driving, lots of time is there. But we should be aware of it and do small upasanas of like japa, listen to music, listen to bhakti, some kind of beautiful music or some stotra padha or the discourses, something. Slowly, we develop constant remembrance of God. So what is tadvismarane paramavyakuta? So 2 things. Offer all our work to Bhagavan and remember him constantly. So without constant remembrance of God, how can we offer our karma to him? So the constant remembrance is only possible when we practice. Whenever we can, we practice, this remembrance of Bhagavan, and then slowly our mind becomes constantly, remembering the Lord. So whatever we do, that all becomes a upasana, adoration of Lord. So in this way, our karma becomes a service of Lord, and we are always united with the Lord. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can actually send it to us. Mail also is possible, or in chat also. Now we will move on to Pujya Gurudev's message for us on this Diwali. This week is Deepavali, right? So we will listen to Pujya Gurudev and Gurudev's message on Deepavali. Hari Om.
The story behind the Deepavali is when Krishna the Lord went and came back vanquishing an enemy in a confrontation. When he came back, the gopis, the community members, in order to celebrate that victory, everybody put lights in their houses. Because there is no electric light in those days. So they put a mud pot with some oil and a wick, and they lighted up so that Krishna, when he was returned, it is pretty late, when he was entering the town, the entire thing was illuminated. Victory of the Lord over negative forces. This is to be done within you. Within you, you are confronting at all times the tension between the noble aspirations and ideas in you and the pull of the lower fleshy lust and greed and passions. Constant confrontation in your psychological level. But at certain moments, by His grace, we win a victory over the negative forces, as you are now, as we are now, because our mind is turned to something higher. But in this tempo of goodness, you cannot remain constantly. Again, they will collect themselves and come. So whenever thus the lower nature in us is conquered and we maintain the higher values of life and come to live, there is a glow of beauty in you. Light stands for knowledge. So every individual lights up, not outside that. Deepavali, Avali, rows and rows of light. This is the goal of all culture. Whether it is many cultures put together or definitely a certain culture being evolved in every other nation, what is the attempt? To bring the better man out of the vulgar, the animal, the base man. When do an individual become civilized and we say that he's a cultured, educated man? When he is able to control his lower passions to an extent. The good cultured man also feels lust. Don't say no. He also feels angry. But like an animal with no control, when the anger comes, you express the anger. When your lust comes, you express the lust. That is an uncultured man. He who is in spite of the anger, this is not the right time, right place, right person, and therefore you swallow it down and bring a smiling face on you. It's called a cultured man, isn't it? So a readiness to make that sacrifice and win over the lower nature is to light up the lamp of knowledge and wisdom and beauty in yourself. So Deepavali is a reminder to the community that there is a greater way of cultured living than the mere animal level. Whatever you feel, you just do it. That is not it. You must look around. You're being given a discriminative intellect. You're not an animal. Animal is allowed to do because he doesn't know how to discriminate, but man is supposed to live from the intellectual standpoint. And don't do things which will bring harm to yourself later on or sorrow to other members at this moment. That means you have to conquer your own selfish, immediate demand for the sake of the others. This is what Deepavali really stands for.
Hari Om. Now we will chant Todakashtakam along with Purnamatam. विधिताखिल शास्त्र सुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं करुणावरुणालय पालय माम् भवसागर दुःखविदून हृदम् रचयाखिलदर्शन तत्त्वविदं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणम् भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निज बोध विचारण चारुमते कलयेश्वर जीव विवेक विदं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवयेव भवानिधि मे नितरां समजायत चेतसि कौतुकिता मम वारय मोहमहाजलधिं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं सुकृतेऽधिकृते बहुधा भवतो भविता समदर्शनलालसता अदिदीनमिमं परिपालय मां भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं जगतीमवितुं कलिता कृतयो विचरन्ति महामहसच्चलतः Ahimam Shurivatra Vibhasi Guru Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Guru Pungava Pungava Ketanate Samadhamayadam nahi kopi sudhi Sharanagata vatsalatattvanidhe Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Vidhita namaya Vishadaika kala न च किंचन काञ्चनमस्ति गुरो द्रुतमेव विदेहि कृपां सहजां भव शङ्कर देशिकमे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिकमे शरणम् Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Hari Om. Once again, this week is Deepavali, so happy Deepavali to all in advance. Next session, our next sadhana day will be on November 28th, last day. Okay, you will be getting reminders and mails from us. Anyone have any queries to ask Swamiji, you can kindly give us or messages. Hari Om.